Hi guys, did you hear about the loose coalition comprising 12 opposition parties that the opposition has cobbled up to take on the unity government? Well, one of the parties that is involved in the 12-party coalition is Ramasamy's Urimai. And what is said about the coalition a couple of days ago reminded me of Samy Vellu's joke, and I thought I have to make this episode just to share this joke with you. Now, there is an apocryphal joke about Samy Vellu that many Malaysians, at least from the older generation, know. The joke goes like this, one day, Samy Vellu joined a science conference. The first to take on the podium at the conference was a delegate from China who proudly claimed by the year 2030, China will put the first Chinese on the moon. Not to be outdone, the American delegate took the podium next and declared, by the year 2030, America will put the first man on Mars. Undaunted, Samy Vellu will take the stage next, and without batting an eyelid, he will claim by the year 2030, Malaysia will land the first person on the sun. Hearing that, the room became silent. If a pin had dropped, you could have heard it. Finally, a courageous journalist decided to break the silence by asking, "But Dato' Sri, isn't the sun hot?" Without skipping a beat, Samy Vellu replied, "Yes, we know. That is why we will land him at night." Now, this is a joke that I'm pretty sure many of you have already heard before. I was reminded of it when I heard Ramasamy answer the question of how the 12 parties in the loose coalition will be able to cooperate effectively in confronting the shortcomings of the Anwar administration, when they are more likely to be confronting each other than they will be in confronting Anwar's administration. For context, on 19 August, Tan Sri Muhyiddin, the head of Perikatan Nasional, announced that the 12 opposition parties have formed a loose coalition to lobby issues that they claim have been neglected by Anwar's administration. What are the 12 parties? It's Bersatu, PAS, Gerakan, Malaysian Indian People Party MIPP, Muda, Pejuang, Putra, Berjasa, Malaysia Advancement Party, National Indian Muslim Alliance Party, and Urimai. Although PSM, the Socialist Party of Malaysia, was also named, its chairman, Dr. Michael Jayakumar, has ruled out joining the coalition, stating that he's not comfortable with the way that many of the parties involved play on racial issues. Michael Jayakumar and PSM might not be doing so well politically, but at least they seem to have enough principle to see the elephant in the room and not be tempted to sell their soul just for the chance to make themselves feel important. Ramasamy, however, has a different take on the matter. Actually, even before the loose coalition was announced, Ramasamy's Urimai and another member of the coalition, MIPP, were already at each other's throat right after the Anti-Anwar rally last month on 26th of July. They were fighting on who amongst them that truly represents the Indian community. But that, it seems, has done nothing to dampen Ramasamy's optimism. This, by the way, is just the difference between an Indian party and an Indian party in the loose coalition. Comparatively, the interracial differences between the loose coalition is much bigger. Ramasamy, however, is totally unconcerned about this big problem, this elephant in the room. As a matter of fact, instead of seeing any problem at all, although it's as big as an elephant in the room, Ramasamy is choosing to drink the Kool-Aid and imagine all sorts of opportunity in the loose coalition instead. Although Ramasamy acknowledges that among the parties, there are differences in terms of specifics and strategy. Like as if strategy is a small thing. He said such diversity would enhance rather than diminish the opposition's reach. So this is actually a good deal. This is not a bad deal, it's a good deal. This is what Ramasamy is saying. This is what he's saying further. I quote, "This flexibility makes the coalition dynamic and adaptive to shifting circumstances." He said, as if to suggest that, for me, it sounds like he's saying like a husband and wife can have as many flings as they want outside of the house, but their marriage will still be happy. harmonious, meaningful inside the house for as long as they focus on raising the kids properly. This sort of idea might sound promising on paper. They call it swingers or something. This kind of swinger ideas might sound promising in theory, but practically speaking, I doubt there are any marriages that will be able to survive this kind of arrangement. To make it sound like what he's doing is actually has actually some deep insight and strategy to it, Ramasamy would even throw in the but everybody is doing it argument. The idea of a loose coalition is not unique to Malaysia, Ramasamy explained. Similar models, Ramasamy said, has been adopted in many countries as effective vehicles to challenge and even replace the ruling government. Ambitious indeed. I don't know who Ramasamy is trying to convince. The jury is still out on whether he was trying to convince himself or us. Jury is still out. Personally, I feel that Ramasamy is just gambling. He's just gambling because he has nothing to lose. So why not bet everything that he has on something that's a 1,000,000 to 1 chance of working? Why not when you got nothing to lose? If it works, he might strike the jackpot. But if he loses, so what? When you have nothing, what do you stand to lose anyway? How much worse can things get for him, considering the abject situation that he's already in? The logic Ramasamy is probably applying is probably the same as the logic that the queue of people lining up at your local 4D shop every weekend, hoping that the 2 ringgit ticket that they have with a 8-digit number they dreamed of last night is going to change their life, make them into a overnight millionaire. Anyway, coming back to the apocryphal Samy Vellu joke I mentioned in the beginning, I think the humor in this joke comes from the fact that though the truth in the punchline points to something completely worthless and meaningless, the setup would be made in such a way that will conjure up the image of all sort of greatness and grandeur. While the setup talks about high technology and achieving things that no one else has done before for the sake of humanity and the nation or your people or your race or whatever, the punchline will reveal that rather than be about anything of consequence, what the entire spectacle was truly about was just about one man with such an exaggerated opinion of himself that he will do anything to make himself feel special or important in an assembly, although he cannot obtain anything meaningful or worthwhile for those that he represents. It is actually the curse of the Indian community that it's always this sort of characters that offers themselves as to us as our leaders, year after year, decade after decade, generation after generation. This is our curse. I think the apocryphal Samy Vellu joke, in a way, is a gatekeeping joke. It tells us when the curse that has befallen our community will finally be broken. I think it will finally end when we finally find a leader who doesn't say things like they want to land a man on the sun at night just because they have a irresistible need to look important and sound spectacular. It will come when we finally have a leader who aims to win and gain something worthwhile for us, for the community, instead of just sounding spectacular and feeling important and in the end turning out into a butt of joke with their antics. Until then, I am quite resigned to the fact that the long night for our people that our people has been enduring, this long night will never end. And with that, guys, we have reached the end of yet another episode. As always, I leave you with the hope that you will stay safe, have a good day, and thank you for watching. Have a good day, guys.